what's brewing today. MSME-focused digital lender FlexiLoans.com has raised 290 crore rupees in its Series B funding round. This was led by global and domestic investors Accion, Nuveen, Fundamentum and existing investor Maj Invest. The firm is going to use this capital to expand its operations, enhance product offerings and strengthen its technological infrastructure. FlexiLoans has disbursed more than 7,000 crores in loans to date and has more than 2,000 crores in assets under management. Joining me now is Deepak Jain, the co-founder of the company, to tell us more about this funding and their plans ahead. Deepak, welcome to Startup Street. Funding is critical for any lender, specifically, for a fintech like you. Tell us about this 290 crores that you've raised and, what the company is now valued at with this round.
Thanks for having us on CNBC. So the 290 crores which we are raising now will help us expand our operations further. Our current net worth is around 300 crores, and we now already at roughly 2,000 crores in asset under management. So this 290 crores of additional fundraise will help us further expand this asset under management over the next 12 to 18 months to around 3,500-4,000 crores. So that's the target, that to further expand our operations. We are profitable, so all the investments in technology and operations and newer products which we are developing are funded in-house. So this funding will be, to further amplify our growth via leverage, etc. As far as valuations are concerned, you know that we don't announce valuations, whenever we do. Like, we didn't do that when we did Series B. We didn't do that when we do Series A. I feel like, when we go public, that's when the valuations will matter, and that's what we'll announce. And we'll be first ones to come on Startup Street and announce that for you.
Well, we'll wait to hear more on that. But to come back on the fund deployment plans, when you say expand operations, increase offerings in particular, currently you do term loans and supply chain financing for MSMEs. Will you perhaps look at entering other segments as well?
So yes, there are plans. There are some plans, but the current two products which we have are massive in itself. So EMI-based loans is the favorite product for most MSMEs in India to borrow as far as their expansion needs are concerned, because they like to pay in EMI and small installments over 2 to 3 years whenever they borrow loans, even when they are borrowing for working capital facilities or business expansion, especially when a retailer is opening a new branch, etc. I'll just take a step back and say that our business segment. We finance the small traders, wholesalers and retailers all over the country. 75% of these customers come from tier 2, tier 3 towns. And we started supply chain financing back in 2018 as well. So of the 2,000 crores asset under management we have, 1,500 crores is roughly from 1,600 crores is from terminal business, and 400 to 450 crores in the supply chain business. Post what's happening in China, we're seeing a lot of developments in global, a lot of disruptions happening in global supply chain, and a lot more is happening in Indian manufacturing sector. So that's a massive sector. We believe that we can do a lot more in supply chain financing, especially on the distributor side of financing, which we don't currently operate in. We do more on the vendor financing side, and we may look at opening certain new sectors like secured financing, etc. over the next few years.
Okay, that's interesting. Secured financing, specifically for MSMEs, of course, the government push has been on unsecured lending, given the track record of the companies. But, given that you're talking about this huge opportunity, you've disbursed about 7,000 crores in loans to date, as we understand. You've told us about your AUM target, but what about loan disbursement? How much more can you do, let's say, over a year or two period or a longer term horizon?
So we've disbursed 7,000 crores till date, Nidhi. The target is to disburse, anywhere around 5,000 to 5,500 in FY25, and another, 8 to 9 crores in FY26. So hopefully, we should be able to disburse roughly anywhere between 12 to 13,000 crores in next 2 years, and take our asset under management anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 crores, depending on how the growth trajectory looks like.
Now 13,000 crores, Deepak. Yeah, how much of this 13,000 crores is going to come from your own book, given that you have the NBFC license, and how much through partners exactly?
So we try and make a balance of 50-50, given we are a tech-first company.
Okay.
And we have, integrations with 20 to 25 odd lenders on both supply chain side as well as in, on the term loan side of business. So we try and maintain this balance of 50-50, wherein, 50% of the loans are always on balance sheet, and 50% we try and do off balance sheet via co-lending approach, or, either through our own FLDG or marketplace platform approach.
A quick word on delinquencies before we let you go, because we've been hearing from various lenders in this quarter about the MSME loan stress. What are you seeing in your portfolio?
So again, FlexiLoans, if you remember, we have invested a lot in technology as far as in data science and technology, especially in the underwriting scorecards as well as on the way we are sourcing our customers. So all of these investments which we've done over the last 8 years have paid us well across the cycles. Again, last 8 years of our operations, we have gone through at least 4 down cycles. And in each of these cycles, our credit costs have remained sub 5%. We are currently also trending at around 3.2, 3.3% in credit costs. So we believe that will remain this year around 3.5% of credit costs, sub 3.5% of credit costs, which is at least 100 to 150 basis point better than most of the market players. Is the market, just the second part of your question is the market is heating up. Yes, I see some heating up happening on the MSME side, but it's lesser on the MSME side versus the consumer side of things, because most of these MSMEs, when they borrow for arbitrage. They are using this capital not for consumption, but for deployment of other funds and make money out of those funds. And thus, it's slightly more secure than the consumer nature of financing.
All right, Deepak, almost 13,000 crores in disbursements, 4,500 crores in AUM, and credit costs under 5%. That's the target you're working with. Thank you very much for joining us here today on Startup Street.
Thank you for having us here.
And moving on, direct to consumer.